Hello everyone, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another World of Warcraft video. Today we're going to be talking about Torghast in 9.1. So Torghast has changed, so they updated it. They added a few new levels, as you can see here. I'm at Skullus Hall. Before the max was 8, and now they've added a few more layers, so max goes up to 12. Of course, only the first layer, layer 9, is open right now. So they added a new thing where there's going to be 2 torments, so it's basically 2 buffs that the mobs get within the dungeon. But the good news is that we can farm more soul ash. So now when we complete this, it is 915 soul ash and then 60 soul cinders. So there, from what I understand, there is no cap on soul ash. We'll now be able to farm as much as we want, but there is still a cap on the soul cinders. So that's going to be the new cap on the weekly basis. So as you can see, we get 915 from the 9, and 8 gives us 860. The 7 gives us 800. Before we were just getting over 500 each run, so they've increased the amount. Layer 10 is available next week, then layer 11 in 2 weeks, and then 12 in 3 weeks. And of course, you'll have to complete each layer to unlock it once it becomes available. So that's pretty big news there. More importantly, about the soul ash, though, we'll be able to farm that as much as we would like. Once you step inside Torghast, it's much the same. There's something I want to point out that's different. As mentioned, there is 2 torments, so they're located right here. So this particular one, Thanatophia, when brought below 40% of your maximum health, you become horrified for 3 seconds. This effect can only occur once every 2 minutes. This doesn't happen too often. On the last boss of this layer, the tank did complain a fair bit about getting stunned all the time, but I think it was just because of that. So in this particular run, there's just the 2 of us. We ran a tank with a Ret Paladin for the off heals, and just to get through it, it wasn't too bad. It took us just over 20 minutes to run the whole thing, and we were doing some shenanigans in the middle and not exactly just blasting through it. One thing we did note is that there are more elites in these higher layers than what you would find normally, so that did cause us to take a little bit more time, and we didn't clear all the floors, so we weren't finding tons of anima power. The other torment that we happen to be experiencing on this level is reinforced reflective, so elite enemies periodically gain a reflective shield while in combat, inflicting physical damage to all attackers for 3 seconds. So overall, it wasn't too bad. We just went through here. There was a few more elites, so but otherwise it wasn't too bad. We do die a couple times very early because they do hit a lot harder. As you can see, my tank is just getting absolutely destroyed there. Just fast forward to the end of the floor, because something that was cool that I thought is they had talked about how they were going to rate you as you go through the dungeon or through the layers. So they based that on how much progression or how the floor you clear, as well as periodically they give you like a mini heroism, and you also get credit for empowering yourself and how much of the dungeon you clear while empowered. I'll show that in a little bit. So here we're just about to go through, and as you can see here, it gives us our summary. So we cleared 47% of the floor. We got 0% empower bonus. We didn't do very well with it. We kind of just popped it just to see what would happen. So we actually didn't kill anything with it. And then our floor time was 10 minutes and we died twice. So again, that was just due to some of the shenanigans that we were doing, thinking that we could just easily walk through it without a full group. And we ended up pulling a lot more stuff than necessary. And so as a result, it took a lot longer, but it wasn't too bad. So this was the longest floor for us by sure. So it gives us that little summary. And then as we come through, now we're just on to floor 2 here, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So what I did notice, so in the middle of the screen here, this is the empowerment buff. So as you kill things throughout the dungeon, you get the buff, and then you can do it. It's a mini heroism. So the more you kill, the more often it'll be up. We are trying to kill as minimal as possible just to do a fast clear. And this is where we notice that the final boss is on floor 5. As you can see here, we're on the 5th floor, and this is definitely the final boss. So that was a pleasant surprise. So we don't have to do 6 floors as per usual. And then we're just going to go here, and I'm going to just fast forward a little bit after and jump here. And so we're just fighting the boss. Pretty standard. They have their own little mechanics, just nuke them down, and then you get your little summary of how you did at the end. So we ended up just with a final score of 60. We got 36 tower knowledge there, and then of course we got our 915 soul ash with our 60 soul cinder as well. So just going to go through here. So it adds up how you did overall for all the floors. So we overall did 52% completion. We got +1 points for the empower bonus. We really didn't kill very many with the empower. We were poorly executing that. It's something that we could work on. Overall, it took us 22.5 minutes. And then we had our 3 deaths. I died there in the last boss for our 3rd death. So we lost 30 points, and then we got our bonus here for rescuing people. So we got our 15. So overall, our final score was 69. If we didn't die, we would have got 99. The first floor was about half our time. Again, that was because of some of the shenanigans we were pulling. So it took us 22 minutes. Overall, it didn't take us very long. Like I was pretty happy with that. And it was a little bit more challenging than what we would have saw in the previous runs. There are more elites and they do hit a lot harder, so that's just something to keep in mind. And it's kind of interesting to see this little breakdown. And then, of course, your tower knowledge is what you will use for the box of many things. So the box of many things, you get a quest from 9.1. You got to go into Torghast and you got to free another person like Venari. It's another broker, I believe is what they're called, and the person's name is Vinish. So you free them, and then they give you a quest to go for the box of many things, which I will go over in a moment, and that is in the rune carver. So you talk to them, you free them, and then you got to go to the rune carver, which we'll jump into right now. So when you come into the rune carver, he's going to have the quest for you. Basically, you talk to him, complete the quest, and then there's going to be this box over here. Then you just click the box and complete another quick quest, and then it opens up the box. So the box has many different tiers to it. Basically, you're going to take the tower knowledge that you got from doing Torghast, and you're going to upgrade certain talents within the box, which will help make your Torghast runs a lot easier. So they vary a little bit. So there's 3 blessings you can get. Empowered swiftness to help you move faster, and you have some haste. You also have automatic looting, which will be pretty handy, so you don't have to run over and click all the bodies. And then, of course, freed from torment. So you can start each layer, like the 9 through 12, with 1 fewer torments that you have to deal with. You have empowered last longer, so longer heroism, which will help you get that empowered bonus lasting longer. When you go to the brokers, you can purchase, there'll be up to 2 rare animals for you to buy. It can take reduced damage from bosses. Achieving a flawless Torghast run allows you and your party to ascend to adamant vaults layers 9 or above only, so that's cool. Another level that I can unlock if you can do it flawlessly. That'll be interesting to see what you need to do it flawless. When you engage a boss, your damage is increased by 5% for 20 seconds, so that's nice as well. A little mini hero there, so that on top of empowered, pretty good for using that on the boss. Soul Remnants grant you an additional 1% stamina. Take 20% reduced damage from traps. That can be pretty handy because sometimes the traps is the bane of your existence. When you die, there's a 5% chance that it will not count against you. So that's the death penalty of the 10 points. Because they did get away from where before you only had a certain amount of lives to complete the run. They got away from that. Now they just have the time penalty or the point penalty. So now you can die a million times, but you can still complete the run. The only downside is you finish the run with 0 points, 0 score, and get 0 tower knowledge. We also here have Unflinching. So here you take 5% less damage from elites. When you or a party member kills 10 enemies, an anima cell drops, so that's cool. So you get more anima powers. Elites award 20% additional value to the empowered bar. So as I was going through the run, there's a bar over here that you had to charge up to get the empowered. Up to 1 time per run, you may reject an anima power selection and obtain a replacement set of choices. So that could be cool. Because sometimes you get a bunch of choices and they're absolutely garbage. While empowered, your damage has a very high chance to cause an explosion to all nearby targets, so that just helps AoE help you run through it. So this was a little bit interesting. The blessing, there's several different blessings that you can get. So from what I understand, there's one they're random and they kind of rotate for each block that you get. So one is an Anima Hoarder. It gives you a free Anima Power orb at the start of each floor. Armed, it grants you 4 Oberon armaments, so at the start of the run. So this can result in like plus 3% haste, mash, reverse, and crit. Diminishing blows, basically the first 3 elites that you attack, they have 75% less health. There's a couple other ones like advantage. It causes bosses to deal less damage, and you receive, and they receive less healing and have 30% less health. So that's pretty cool. So there's a few different, like 7 or 8 of them, and it all varies based on the different blocks or whatever. So I know that that one's got the most questions. I don't know 100% about all of them. I was only able to find a little bit of reading about some of them, so it'll be interesting to see what all they have. So I did 2 runs. We didn't do very well with the score. I think we're about 60 and 70 overall for them because we were just blasting through it. We didn't clear a lot of them, and nor did we do very well with the empowered bonus. So, and we did have a few deaths. The last boss we had in the second run had a one-shot mechanic shockwave that we didn't exactly notice the first time when we were fighting him, and so we both died immediately, but at least the boss didn't heal, which was good because we would have had to start over. So overall, it was an interesting experience going through it. The box of many things with these buffs will make it pretty interesting as you go through. I'll be interested to see what it'll take to complete a flawless run. I'll probably play around with that. So this is just a quick introduction into the new Torghast in 9.1 and a few things that they've done different. Again, we're going to be able to farm as much soul ash as we want. You just have to run it as often as you want. That is my understanding. As I've been told and what I've read, that is how it's going to work. We are limited to 60 of the soul cinders per wing, so 120 per week, and that's going to be used crafted in the new legendaries that we're going to get. So again, this was the Torghast in 9.1. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, let us know below. Again, we also would love for you to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitch. Have a good one.